Good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of Talking Business with the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Barbados, or ICAB. I am Lisa Padmore, Chief Executive Officer of ICAB. On Monday afternoon, the Honourable Ryan Strawn, MP, Minister in the Ministry of Finance, Economic Affairs and Investment, delivered his first financial statement and budgetary proposal speech in Parliament. The media houses and the Government Information Service, or GIS, have done a good job in summarizing the major proposals from Minister Strawn's 4-hour presentation. On our program today, I will focus on some of the proposals and attempt to explain how they may impact the personal taxpayer and the corporate taxpayer. Let us start with the Resilience and Regeneration Fund. Government proposes to repurpose the Catastrophe Fund under the National Insurance and Social Security Service, or NISSS, to create the Resilience and Regeneration Fund as part of a drive to make the country more resilient. Currently, 0.1% of earnings from employees and self-employed persons are deducted and remitted to the NISSS as contributions to the Catastrophe Fund. So, for example, if your monthly earnings is $2,000, your contribution deducted was $2 to the Catastrophe Fund. The proposal is, effective April 1st, 2025, the amount to be deducted will be based on a rate of 0.25%, or, using our $2,000 example, a monthly contribution of $5. The second proposal is to remove the limitation on the amount to be contributed. Currently, all contributions to the funds and levies managed by the NISSS are limited to amounts of no more than $5,280 per month or $1,219 per week. Effective April 1st, 2025, the government proposes to remove the ceiling on the calculation of this contribution. So let's use another example. If your monthly earnings as an employee is $10,000, the contribution to the fund will be based on that $10,000, while all other NISSS contributions will be continued to be based up to the ceiling of $5,280, or if you have weekly wages, $1,219 per week. Finally, the government has proposed that employers will match the amount deducted from their employees. Currently, employers are not required to make contributions on behalf of employees to the Catastrophe Fund. While the differences between what currently obtains and what will be required after April 1st are higher for persons earning amounts above the ceiling and in general for employers, ICAB is also concerned about the length of time required to make changes to payroll software between Monday's presentation and April 1st, 2025. This is not the only change companies will have to make to their accounting and payroll software as a result of the budgetary proposals. Minister Strawn also shared that value-added tax will be removed from stew beef, minced meat, minced pork, minced turkey, pineapples, barley, Vienna sausages, Horlicks, Sega, lentil peas. An import duty and value-added tax will not be levied on pears, and in this case we're not talking about avocados, Ortaniques, mandarins, grapefruits, and plums effective April 1st. Retail and wholesale companies will now have to seek assistance from service providers, if that expertise is not in-house, to have various software changes made. We hope the government will be understanding as companies try to effect these changes in the 2.5 weeks remaining in this month. ICAB acknowledges that this budget was a socially minded one when compared to the budgetary proposals made in 2024. From the $300 solidarity allowance to the increase in the maternity benefits to 14 weeks for a single birth for mothers, to the granting of benefits of 3 weeks to fathers, regardless if the mother and father reside in the same household, the 2025 budgetary proposals provided several gifts to the vulnerable of our country. We are pleased to see the increase in the weekly stipends offered to persons and families who participate in foster care and the construction of daytime facilities for our senior citizens at various locations across the island. ICAB applauds the government for these initiatives. We also noted the increase in the personal allowance for pensioners to $50,000 and the removal of withholding taxes on investments in government bonds by registered retirement and pension plans. In 2025, ICAB, as did other service organizations in Barbados, requested the government to relook the treatment of pensions, as it was felt that the increase to $45,000 as a personal allowance in 2024 was insufficient. ICAB welcomes the additional increase of $5,000 from the 2024 level, but is disappointed that some pensioners are still being penalized for their efforts during their working life to maximize their pension income and are still being taxed again when they have retired. Over the coming weeks, we'll seek to provide you with more information about the 2025 financial statement and budgetary proposals and taxation in general. I'm Lisa Padmore, and this is Talking Business with ICAB.